Hi, today I'm reproducing a work by the wonderful TKV. I often see her work and am impressed by her use of color and how realistically she renders portraits. TKV uses stencils, beginning her pieces with general shapes and moving on to smaller ones. I started with large shapes and gradually worked on the girl's face. After I defined the main shapes and shadows, I began sketching the hairstyle. I outlined the basic shape and decided to refine it later. I began constructing the letters with the main lines, considering what's in the foreground and what's in the background, and also keeping an eye on the overall composition. These are generally basic drawing techniques, but since I decided to work exclusively with pen and paper, without sketching, I didn't try to correct the lines. This kind of work is a great way to exercise your brain. You're constantly analyzing and building the overall picture in your head. How are the shapes grouped? How are the lines laid out? What's the perspective of the objects? How does the light fall? You need to answer all of these questions. Even though the overall picture is right before your eyes, you still need to understand how it's done and the logic behind it. Once I'd completed the general structure of the lettering, I moved on to its volume and color. I simplified the palette a bit and conveyed only the basic color relationships. By the way, I really liked the concept of the piece. The girl herself is done in black and white, while the graffiti around her and the flowers in her hair are incredibly colorful. I have different interpretations of this piece, but I don't know exactly what the author intended. Let's get back to the execution. I also really like that the portrait and lettering have a unifying blue outline. It makes the work more graphic and unified in a word style. After the letters, I returned to the hairstyle, worked on the flowers in more detail, and filled them in. Finally, I created a minimalist background with simple lines. Although I had different materials, I didn't use stencils, and my drawing style differs from TKV. I tried to convey the general style of the graffiti rather than create an exact copy. To get closer to the street art style, I did the work without a sketch. Just pens and paper, with no option to remove anything. The work I'm copying today was in Belgrade, in Mayonnaise Park. Although it's no longer there, other graffiti has appeared there. It's now in my sketchbook. Now you can see the final work. Thank you for watching and nice to meet you. 9.